You know that moment Luffy lands the final blow on Katakuri and they both collapse? That's not just a fight, that's perfection. It's not about power scaling or flashy moves. It's about arcs of build-up, emotions that hit like a gut punch, and animation so clean it feels unreal. Most fans miss this. The best fights in One Piece and Hunter x Hunter don't just look good, they mean something. So I'm breaking down 10 that turned combat into pure storytelling. Let's start with number 10. And we're kicking it off with Hunter x Hunter because this fight set the standard for everything that came after. Gon versus Hisoka in Heaven's Arena is where Togashi showed us that tactical brilliance beats raw power every single time. The build-up here isn't about revenge or saving the world. It's about a kid who refuses to give up against someone who could end him without even breaking a sweat. But watch how the animation handles Gon's determination. Every punch he throws, every time he backs up, you can see his growth happening in real time. The way they animate Hisoka's twisted pleasure, mixed with genuine respect, creates this uncomfortable tension that makes you root for Gon, even though you know he's outclassed. Family, it was magic. Number 9 takes us to Alabasta with Zoro versus Mr. One. And family, this fight is criminally underrated. The emotional stakes here hit different because this is Zoro's first real test of his dream to become the world's greatest swordsman. He's facing an opponent who can turn his entire body into blades, and Zoro's swords are useless. But the animation during that moment when he learns to cut steel, the way they slow everything down and you can see the realization in his eyes, that's not just character development, that's visual storytelling at its peak, and it's unforgettable. Number 8 brings us back to Hunter x Hunter with Kurapika versus Uvogin, and this is where the York New arc proved that revenge stories can be beautiful and terrifying at the same time. The build-up spans generation with the Kurta clan massacre, but the animation of Kurapika's chains and those scarlet eyes, burning with pure hatred, creates this visual poetry that makes you feel his pain. You're not just watching a fight end, you're watching justice being served with surgical precision. The chef's kiss. Number 7 takes us back to where it all started with Luffy versus Arlong in East Blue. After 1,000 plus episodes, this fight still hits harder than most because the emotional weight is so pure. Nami's tears, Luffy's promise, and that moment when Luffy destroys Arlong Park room by room. The animation might not have the budget of later arcs, but the raw emotion in every punch Luffy throws makes up for it. This is where One Piece proved that the best fights aren't about power levels, they're about protecting the people you love. And it still gives me chills. Number 6 is the classic Nitro versus Miram from the Chimera Ant arc. And family, this is where Hunter x Hunter became philosophical art. The build-up is the entire arc leading to this moment where humanity's strongest fighter faces evolution itself. But watch how they animate Nitro's 100 type attack. Every strike is animated like a prayer. Every movement has weight and purpose. This isn't just a fight, it's a meditation on what it means to be human when facing something beyond human comprehension. And the surprise end to the fight must have been written by God's hand because wow. But family, those fights were just warming us up for the absolute chaos coming next. Number 5 is where One Piece decided to break the internet with Luffy versus Doflamingo in Dressrosa. The build-up here spans the entire arc with Doflamingo manipulating an entire kingdom like his personal puppet show. But when Luffy finally unleashes Gear 4 for the first time, the animation team went absolutely insane. That King Kong gun sequence isn't just a finishing move. It's a declaration that One Piece was ready to compete with any anime in terms of pure visual spectacle. The way they animate Luffy's rubber body inflating to impossible proportions, while maintaining that sense of weight and impact, that's technical mastery combined with creative madness. Number 4 brings us back to Hunter x Hunter with Zeno Silva versus Chrollo. And family, this is where we see what legendary assassins actually look like when they stop holding back. The build-up spans the entire York New arc, with hints about the Zoldyck family's reputation. But when these two finally corner Chrollo, the animation becomes pure liquid violence. Watch how they animate Zeno's dragon dive raining down like divine judgment. while Silva moves with terrifying precision that makes every step look calculated to kill. This isn't just a fight, it's a masterclass in how to animate speed and power without losing the audience in a blur of motion. And I'm talking about you, Solo Leveling. Number 3 takes us to the moment that traumatized an entire fan base with Gon versus Pitou, and that Adult Gon transformation. The emotional buildup starts with Kite's death and follows Gon's descent into pure unfiltered rage. But the animation of his transformation sequence is what makes this legendary. Madhouse didn't animate a power-up, they animated a mental breakdown in real time. The way his body stretches and grows while his face becomes this mask of cold fury creates visceral horror that makes you realize you're not watching a hero anymore. You're watching a child sacrifice everything for revenge. And the animation team made sure you feel every second of that loss. Number 2 is where One Piece redefined what the series could be with Luffy versus Kaido and the Gear 5 debut in Wano. The build-up for this moment spans decades of hints about the true nature of Luffy's devil fruit. And when that reveal finally drops, the animation team threw out every rule they'd established. Suddenly, One Piece became this reality-bending cartoon where Luffy can grab lightning and turn the ground into rubber. The way they blend that classic cartoon aesthetic with the brutal stakes of a Yonko battle creates this tonal whiplash that somehow works perfectly. This fight didn't just change Luffy, it changed what One Piece could be as a visual medium. But here's what separates these elite tier fights with everything below them. It's not the animation budget or the emotional stakes, though both are crucial. It's how they manage to innovate while staying true to the core of their characters. Doflamingo versus Luffy showed us Gear 4 could be both ridiculous and terrifying. Zeno and Silva versus Chrollo proved that family teamwork could be absolutely terrifying. Adult Gon versus Pitou demonstrated that character development doesn't always mean growth. Sometimes it means destruction. And Gear 5 Luffy versus Kaido proved that One Piece could reinvent itself after 25 years without losing its soul. These fights also share something else that makes them untouchable. They all feature moments where the animation style shifts to match the emotional intensity. Gear 4's bouncy, almost playful movement contrasting with its devastating power. The surgical precision of the Zoldyck assassination techniques creating this beautiful, deadly dance. The horrifying fluidity of Gon's transformation, making every frame feel wrong in the best possible way. And Gear 5's cartoonish physics breaking reality itself to show us Luffy's true form. The other thing these fights nail is pacing. Each one builds to multiple climaxes instead of just one big finish. Doflamingo keeps getting up until that final King Kong gun. Zeno and Silva coordinate their attacks like they've been hunting together for decades. Because they have. Gon's transformation is just the beginning of his emotional destruction. And Luffy vs. Kaido spans multiple episodes because Gear 5 needed time to show us everything it could do. But the number 1 spot belongs to the fight that changed everything. Luffy vs. Katakuri is untouchable, and I'll tell you exactly why. This fight represents everything that makes One Piece legendary wrapped into one perfect package that spans multiple episodes and never loses steam. The build-up starts the moment Luffy steps into the mirror world, but really it goes back to every moment he struggled to master his haki throughout the new world. Katakuri isn't just another strong opponent, he's everything Luffy could become if he was born in a different life. The animation shows this through every exchange. Watch how they mirror each other's movements. How Katakuri's future sight creates this dance where he's always one step ahead until suddenly he isn't. The way they animate Luffy's gradual improvement throughout the fight, showing his observation haki developing in real time, creates this visual story of growth that most anime could never pull off. But what makes this fight the undisputed champion is how it balances brutal action with genuine respect between both opponents. The mirror world setting creates this intimate personal space where two warriors can push each other to their absolute limits. When Katakuri finally falls on his back for the first time in his life, the animation captures both his defeat and his liberation. This isn't just Luffy winning a fight, it's two men recognizing each other as equals. The emotional buildup spanning entire arcs pays off in every frame. Every technique Luffy uses, every moment of determination, every time he gets back up connects back to every lesson he's learned since entering the new world. The animation evolution throughout the fight shows us Luffy's growth happening before our eyes. And by the end, you realize you've watched someone become worthy of being Pirate King. And if you enjoyed this video, just know that I cooked up another one for you. So click on one of those videos that just popped up, and I will see you on the next one.